Hello and welcome to the first episode of Offerings. To give everyone some background on the show and what it's about, once a month we'll be sitting down with artists, producers and DJs within the electronic music scene. We'll be getting to know their story and how they got into music. We'll be learning about their approaches when it comes to making music and DJing, and also be asking them about their own personal creative process. Hopefully, if you're a DJ or producer yourself, or even just interested in hearing other perspectives on creativity and music, then there should be something of value here for you. After our interview, our guests will be jumping on the decks here in the studio and giving us a short mix to round off the show. So without further ado, today my guest is the exciting and wonderfully talented Joe Milli. Joe, thanks for coming in. How's it going?
All good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, very welcome. Before we kick off, for the people who don't know, in your own words, tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you do.
So my name's Joe, Joe Millington, Joe Milli. I am a producer and a DJ and a bit of a radio guy, if that makes any sense. Yeah. And just lover of music, really. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I wanted to start off by sort of exploring your younger experiences and journey into music. So tell me a bit about your experiences and earliest memories with music.
I think I've always liked music. I think growing up in my house, there was always like music playing. It was very, very noisy household. My mum, my three sisters. My mum, my two sisters and one of three. Sorry. And there was always kind of like, just we were always into music, always watching like MTV. Mum's always got something playing, a lot of like, boogie, Motown, funk, soul, reggae kind of thing. My sister was well into hip hop. Yeah. And she was always buying CDs. Yeah. So it was kind of like hanging around my older sister, both of them, kind of just listening to like, and just loads of music. Do you know what I mean?
It sounds like you had like a lot of really good external influences from like a younger age, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. I think like I'm probably from like the LimeWire generation. So anything you kind of listen to, you whack it straight on the old MP3 player. Yeah. iPod Shuffle. Nice. And like, that was it. Like I kind of got like obsessive with collecting, kind of having all like the new tunes and everything. So
yeah, so you're almost like bedding the inner DJ in you from a young age.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then kind of flash forward a few years and one of my mates got a pair of decks. And Josh Stouts, big up Josh Stouts. And they were just playing records and stuff. So then kind of starting to get into it via that angle, being like, right, let's give this a go. Yeah. And so I think it was probably like 16, 17. Yeah.
Before we get into DJing, I do want to get into sort of how you got into DJing. Was there any other musical pursuits before then?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, just missed out a massive chunk. So I play like guitar, flute, saxophone. Nice. So in school, I played a lot of instruments. Yeah. Did music like GCSE and A-level. Yeah. Did music production at uni. Sick. So it's kind of like I've always been kind of into that kind of making music aspect. Yeah, just kind of consistently since I was about 6 or 7. So yeah, I think we are quite like, I think me more so than my other two siblings, but yeah, we are quite like a musical household.
Are they still sort of involved, your siblings, in music?
Nah, not at all. They've both got just dead normal jobs.
Nice. You said you did a lot of instruments and you were producing. Was it DJing or production you tried first?
So I think in school we did music production, so probably making beats on Fruity Loops, on Cubase, in the music room after school. Nice. Like Cubase. That was probably my first introduction. And do you know what? The joy of it didn't really stick. I found it quite like, I wasn't a massively techie person. I kind of like, you get the hang of it, but it wasn't until much later where I was like, right, let's give it a proper go.
Well, I suppose if you're coming from like an instrument background, it's a very like physical, tangible thing, like playing with your hands or whatever. And then when you move to like the production side of things, it's like it probably a little bit alien because it's like in a box.
100%. I think there's also an aspect of it where you have to like sit down and learn how to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be able to like learn the language so you can speak.
Mm.
I think that's a lot of like production stuff. So yeah, we were always hanging around making beats and stuff like that. Yeah, it wasn't too much later I'd got like the bug to produce.
Yeah,
definitely.
Speaking of the sort of difference in perspective from going from like instruments to production, that, but also were there any issues or obstacles you encountered when you first started out DJing?
Do you know what? Like the biggest one is there's CDJs everywhere now. There's equipment everywhere. Back in the day, it wasn't so common to be able to just find a pair of CDJs to go and have a mix. Not everybody had it. It wasn't as accessible.
Yeah.
So I think that was the major thing, and you almost had to like seize every opportunity to be able to like touch decks. I think when I first started DJing and stuff, it was all CDs.
Yeah.
Burn your CDs.
Yeah.
If your CDs don't work, well, you got a problem, haven't you?
Yeah.
And then burning CDs before you go in and playing gigs. So the whole process of it was a lot more labour intensive, I think. But yeah, I think you seized a lot more of the opportunities that you got. You were like, right, I just need to. Everybody had one mate with decks.
Yeah, yeah.
And everybody would pile around their house on Friday night. Like.
You need to use as much. You need to like use the time efficiently.
100%. Yeah.
And from when you first started out up until now, what's an area of development you're most proud of?
I think, in terms of music in general.
Music in general, production, DJing, anything really.
Do you know what? Just the ideas. I think for me, production is you learn one thing, you learn a bunch of tricks, and it's putting them all together, isn't it? So I think there's that kind of, the tunes sound better from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So that's quite a nice thing. I think as well, just kind of get into terms with what you kind of want to be putting out and you want to sound like, or do you know what I mean? Having a sense of identity. I think that's quite like nice. I think it's quite easy to be like, oh, shiny thing. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I kind of like, I know what I like. And it's a lot easier to kind of put a pen to paper and kind of express myself.
Yeah.
I think that's the most kind of, I don't know, thing that I feel like I've achieved.
Nice.
In a sense, that makes any...
No, absolutely, yeah. I want to chat more recently as well. So you recently rounded off your Rinse residency. You're starting to get a new show on SWU. How's that transition to a new show been going?
So, done one, and we've got another one next month. This is first Tuesdays. It's been quite seamless. I'm still recording in the same studio, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, Sue's obviously based in Bristol.
Yeah.
I am based in London. I mean, am I supposed to give the illusion that I drive down there?
For the fans.
For the fans.
For the craft.
For the culture. So it's pretty seamless. I think there's definitely I didn't, maybe I don't think I didn't want to leave. Definitely, no one wants to leave. But it's nice that, I've done about a solid year.
Yeah.
13 shows. And actually, SWU's still part of
Rinse, right?
the big family. So there'll be times to go back and stuff like that. It's just doing something a bit different. Shows longer.
Yeah.
Which I've been craving 2 hours. I think 2 hours you can express yourself a lot more. You can get guests on and you can kind of see what they're all about. Do you know what I mean? In terms of have a little chat with them, get them to do a guest mix rather than it being this 1 hour of try and say as much with the music as possible. It's a bit more relaxed. A bit more
relaxed, yeah.
Slightly slower pace. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. I want to get into, because you mentioned there, your guests that you're bringing on, which you did quite a lot with Rinse. But before I get onto that, I wanted to talk about your last show on Rinse, which was an 100% own productions mix. Talk to me about the decision to round off your residency in that way.
I think it was something that I always wanted to do. I also kind of feel it's like you've got all this music, loads of stuff that you've not done anything with. Let's try and let the world hear it. Do you know what I mean? And I think I wanted to do it on Rinse. It's not easy to put together either. It's quite like...
No, not at all.
Not you don't kind of make tunes thinking that they're all going to slot together like some kind of puzzle, which is kind of like, right, how am I going to make this all coherent? But at the same time, it's like, it's nice to play tunes and listen to productions coming through speakers rather than just having this kind of relationship with them as I made these tunes and I never play them. So I think that was kind of part of the reasoning, just hearing the tunes, letting people hear some of the stuff that like I haven't put out at all.
Well, there was also something in that mix which I found really interesting. I wrote it down. You said on the mic in that mix, you said, one thing I realise now is that things sound a lot better than you think they do. I wanted to sort of ask about your sort of attitude to sort of playing your own stuff. Do you ever think you've been reluctant in the past to play your own stuff?
Oh God, yeah. I think you're always going to be your biggest critic, and that is kind of good because I think that brings the quality of things up. But at the same time, it can be negative in a way that you're going to kind of... I've not played my own music sometimes simply because I just didn't think things were good enough. You're only going to find out what they sound like and how effective they are by playing them. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? No one knows it exists if you don't play it. If a tree falls in the woods. Yeah. Did it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's two things. I think it's really easy to be overly critical of your own work than it is to be of others. And I also think that the idea of something sometimes can be scarier than the actual thing.
100%.
The thought of playing that in front of a crowd or playing it on a radio station, that can be scarier than actually just playing it and you realise, oh, this is a good tune, why didn't I back myself?
But I think it's also like playing your tunes, you understand how they work in the context of how functional they are. Like, okay, I'm going to play this tune, okay, this would work in this kind of scenario. Oh, I would mix onto this in this way. Yeah. So it's kind of understanding your tunes from a practical standpoint because that's how they're supposed to be used. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly. The functionality as well as the sort of effect, right?
100%.
Sick. Whilst I loved rounding off a residency in that way with 100% productions mix, I think it was a great way to do it. You also do a really good job of consistently bringing on new guests to your shows with Rinse.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Would you say you enjoy it more playing and collaborating with others?
So I tell you what, I'm about 50-50 on it. There have been a couple of shows that I've done and the energy in the room in a back-to-back, I think the one with Size and the one with P. Lucas most recently on Swoo, the energy in the room is just massive. Do you know what I mean? And it's quite like you're bouncing off each other. It's almost like you're creating fresh ideas, on the spot. It's very off the cuff because you're reacting to what someone else is doing. Yeah. But there are times when you kind of go, I'm going to think about what I'm going to play myself. I've got an hour to myself, just kind of play a bunch of new music or tunes I've been itching to play. And it just kind of feels really seamless. Do you know what I mean? So it's two kind of very different feelings. I genuinely... Back-to-backs make you a better DJ, 100%. Yeah. I think learning to react kind of thing. But, yeah, I couldn't really say.
Okay, so instead of... Maybe that was a wrong way.
It's definitely more fun.
It. Yeah. I mean, I suppose music's to be shared, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's... I mean, if you're a DJ as well and you're maybe used to live shows... There's a crowd there. With a radio show, it's kind of a little bit different because you're sort of in a room on your own. And maybe you're imagining the reaction. So having someone there with you as well, I suppose.
I think it can sometimes be really easy to get inside your own head and kind of be focused on, like, you know, exactly, oh, that mix wasn't great, or that mix wasn't great. I think it's so important to create spontaneous energy.
Yeah.
And just kind of be like, well, this is what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And ultimately, if you're relaxed and feeling good, which having another person in the room playing with you always relaxes you more. Well, sometimes it might not, but just kind of like relax and go with it. Do you know what I mean? Rather than kind of it being this massively rehearsed thing. I think less rehearsing, more in the moment, kind of.
More instinct.
Yeah, instinct.
Yeah, get out of your own head sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So tell me about this project, Plots and Parcels, because in essence, that is also a very collaborative project, right?
So, Plots and Parcels is myself, Nathan, who is the general manager at Little Sellers in Peckham, Connor, who's the old general manager at Peckham Sellers, and Albert, who is the head chef at Smoke and Goat. So we're all kind of hospo background. I'm a massive hospo background, managing bars and restaurants, and I was a chef many moons ago, and just kind of going, right, we all love partying, we all love wine, we all love good food. Let's just kind of start doing some bits. We sometimes do parties, sometimes we do, you know, dining and supper clubs, sometimes, you know, radio, bits and bobs. It's an amalgamation of all the things we like. You know, wine tastings is something we do as well. But it's just kind of us coming together and, you know, trying to like give a good time, really. I think that's what it's mostly about, in the ways that we know how to.
Yeah. I think it's sick, by the way. I mean, I've done
Thank you.
I've done supper clubs before, and I find them like really cool. Like when the chef comes out and he explains the dishes, and you're sat with strangers, and it's got really like a community feel to it. I mean, I feel like you've built on it even further by like incorporating wine and incorporating music as well. I think it's sick. Who came up with the idea?
So it was originally Nathan and Connor and Albert, and I joined like shortly after, but it's two sommeliers, a chef and a DJ essentially.
Yeah.
Let's throw a party kind of thing. And then I kind of said, oh, this is a really good idea, guys. Like, how can I get involved? And it was like, we're gonna reach out to you. Kind of. So I kind of take care of the music side of things. Albert's food, but I'm also food as well. And then we got two banging sommeliers that deal with all things wine. So yeah, it's kind of, we're all friends, kind of independent of that. So Albert I've known for years, and then through Albert I've met Nathan and Connor. So yeah,
that's sick, man. What's on the horizon? Any new events? I want to come down to one.
So we've got Southwark, Hoxton. So we're doing things with Hoxton hotels. Big up Faye.
Big up Faye.
Doing a little kind of private dining, followed by, same night, it'll be a party straight after. On the 19th. More details that were coming. We're just kind of in there in the works of sorting that one all out. But yeah, I think the whole kind of concept is we're just more kind of intimate, kind of, I don't know, get-togethers of community. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe, really. I think there's a couple of penciled things in that shouldn't really say just in case they don't happen. But yeah,
fair enough.
Lots of collaborations as well.
We'll stick with notifications on the Instagram page, and we'll wait for the announcement. So you have your own residency on SWU. You play some live events. You even curate some of your own lineups at some events, if I'm correct. You do all of this, and on top of that, you've got Plots and Parcels. Do you see it as a positive or a negative thing, having all those creative pursuits?
I think they're all pushing in the same direction. Do you know what I mean? I definitely think I enjoy all of them. Yeah. So that's kind of a bonus. I wouldn't do things that I don't enjoy, but they all kind of fit quite adjacent to each other. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like the wine, the food, the music, they all quite flow quite nicely. Like putting events on, I have a massive background in kind of promoting and putting nights on, but doing this stuff at Planet Wax, it's really chill. It's more like a kind of easy get together.
Yeah.
And it kind of just, they all kind of work in harmony, I suppose.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's always positive to be doing more things, to be staying busy.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely.
I think I'm happy you answered it like that, because that's what I was assuming would be your sort of answer. I think depending on who you are as a person, there's probably the sort of chance that it might become a bit overwhelming. But also, as you said, they sort of feed into each other. And I suppose if you're like knocking your head against the wall with one thing, there's always like the opportunity to like move away and like recapture inspiration elsewhere.
I think a lot of 100%. I think a lot of it is just kind of try and stay mad organised with things. Use a calendar.
Yeah.
So only in the last 2-3 years have I discovered a calendar.
Yeah.
Put things in the diary, and just plan your time and give things your all. I think it's so easy to sometimes, watch things not do as well, but you haven't given it 100%. Just try and give things your all and know your limits and expectations, and be like, right, I want this, but I need to give it this much effort.
Yeah.
Put this much effort in. Hopefully it goes well. But
for me, something that I've recently found out that works quite well is, I mean, this isn't a new thought, but just like completely disregard the result. Like put the energy in and like be okay with like however it ends up. Don't assume it's going to end up as the worst thing ever, but like don't sort of like set the bar too high as well.
100%. I think I had a little evening at Planet Wax last week Thursday, and that was the complete energy in my head. Kind of, look, you've done everything you can. Just it is what it is. Whatever will be, will be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that's quite a really good way to look at it. Like,
nice. I want to sort of finish off talking about creative processes and creative approaches. So a bit of a open one first, but when do you feel most creative?
I'm in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's not that I can't make music in the evenings. I think I'm at my most productive between 10 and 4 in the afternoon. Because that's when I've got the most energy. I'm the most switched on. I love sunlight. Sunlight helps. And I find like there's a level of kind of, I'm not depriving myself of sleep.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I could go far down in the rabbit hole, and before you know it, it's 3 a.m, and you're like, wow, got to be up at like 6 or 7. So definitely during the day.
Yeah. Well, you're an early riser as well, aren't you?
Yeah, just pop. Definitely, I'm in the gym quite early usually. And the gym is probably the place where you get the kind of creative juices flying. You'd be like, right, listening to music, and be like, all right, I'm going to go and make something like this today, or I just listened to this track and I really like that bit of it. So kind of in a space where you can just focus on what's going on in your headphones. So when you get to your desk, it's like, right, got so many ideas. That's been a massive kind of game changer for me in the past 2-3 years. Just like, fitness routine.
Yeah, that routine in the morning.
Yeah,
sort
definitely.
of like start the day off on the right foot. Thinking just about DJing now for a moment. Walk us through your approach when you're planning for a set. Sorry, when you're planning a set for a show or an important live event. Walk us through that sort of approach.
So I would definitely. A lot of people would be so tempted to go and get loads of new music just to do a set of completely brand new tunes. But you haven't listened to all of them.
Yeah.
It's so tempting to be like, oh, I've got all this new music, and it's like, you've not played with it much or listened to it. So you kind of want to get a few new bits, don't get too much. And definitely look at things that you already have and things that you like playing. And I used to kind of spend hours kind of trying to piece together everything and go like, right, this is exactly what I'm going to play. Pick your first tune, pick a few bits that you definitely will play and points that you want to get to, but the rest kind of will do it itself. Kind of put itself together, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And kind of relax, enjoy it, and learn from it. I think a lot of people see everything as a be-all and end-all. Everything's just a diary entry. That's what my mate Joe likes to say. It's just a point in time. That. Everything's just, this is what it was today. It'll be something different tomorrow. Yeah. So just try not to remember why you do it and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's really nice, actually.
But yeah, rehearsing everything and making sure it was, perfect. I'm going to play all these tunes exactly in this way. Yes, there is definitely a time for that. I think maybe if you've got time to curate a mix, or that's definitely the time for it. But playing live, you've got to read the energy in the room as well. So it's good to be adaptable. If you're quite rigid and set in stone of what you're going to do, it's hard to adapt. Yeah.
I mean, especially if it's like a live event as well, and the crowd might not be responding to a certain. You need to give yourself that sort of wiggle room, I suppose.
Got to find a plan B.
Yeah.
Plan C or D as well.
Yeah. Are there any unconventional places you look for music?
Oh gosh, I think listen to as much or as many mixes as possible, because you're going to find absolute heat in all of it. What I mean? You listen to a mix that you like by someone you like, you're going to find tunes in there you're not going to know. Sometimes when you you ask in the comments, or what's this, or try and find a track ID, that's a really good way to do it.
Yeah.
Through the many, many archives of Bandcamp, you're going to find loads of good stuff. Looking back, I don't think everyone's always trying to find the new thing, the super new thing. Look at the old thing.
Yeah.
Look at the old thing that you used to play that maybe you don't play anymore because you think it's old, but actually it was good, and it was good for a reason.
And if it was good for you as well, then it's perfect validation to play it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's also a sad day for Mixes DB, which is going down.
Oh no. Yes, that is tragic.
Someone please buy that website and keep it going. I'll lend you a $5. So thinking about producing now, specifically when you're sitting down to produce your own stuff, you have a blank DAW in front of you. What works for you to get the ball rolling?
A lot of people would say start with melodic elements, because you're gonna be in key if you're working that way. I start with I try and make a basic groove. I'm better at drums, so I try and get the drums going.
I'm a drums guy too.
100, it's just so once you've got the groove, and then you can think about that. I definitely think it helps to go into the session with, if you've got a pre-sliced up vocal or something that you definitely want to use, but get a groove going. And I operate in maybe a 16 or a 32, and I try and make a big loop. And once I've got enough elements that I like, add in melodic elements, add in some pads, add in extra percussion, little samples here and there. Okay, right, I've got that. Get into arrangement as quickly as possible. Yeah. Because it's almost these things can exist in loops on your hard drive for forever. So if you commit your ideas to an arrangement, it just brings it forward a lot better. I think don't go in there with an idea of what you want to do specifically. You need to be able to adapt and be able to go, right, well, this is changing into this thing. I kind of want it to be this thing, but you know what? Let's go. Let the production lead the way. Yeah, I think that's a thing that I've learned, and just don't get too hung up on it.
Yeah. Let go of the sort of expectations of where it started out, because I suppose if you're getting too hung up on where you thought it would go, then you might not be able to do that idea justice anymore.
You also, as well, you're 45 minutes in and it's not going anywhere. Yeah. Scratch it up, put it in the bin, start something else. Yeah. Definitely don't get too, don't try and fit a square into a triangle. It's not working. It's not working.
Do you ever struggle with lack of inspiration? This is a two-parter, depending on your yes or no, but a sort of writer's block.
I think for me, definitely tunes write tunes. So I'll go through patches of feeling really creative, writing loads. It's almost like, you have a really good session a lot, and then sometimes you might not have a great session. Like you might be struggling for a few days or something, and then suddenly you'll be able to create something else. So it's like you go and fish. Sometimes you'll catch fish, sometimes you won't catch fish. But I remember there was a very long period of about 2 months I couldn't really write anything.
Yeah.
And I think it was just kind of removing myself from the end product and being like, I'm here to just mess around and play around.
Yeah.
Suddenly managed to get back on it by just, as I said, playing with some loops, playing with some remixing.
Yeah.
Taking things from like other tunes that you've already done or other loops or something that you've made or that you're not necessarily using, but use that. You don't necessarily need to organically start a tune from scratch, if you see what I mean. Use the bits that you've got as like your tools. If
and I suppose if it's someone else's stuff as well, there's a weird psychological barrier which comes down, which is like, well, this isn't my tune, so there's like almost like a freedom from it.
100%, yeah. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Kind of releasing.
Yeah. It leads me on to a question I want to finish on. You sort of alluded to it. You alluded to it a little bit. How do you keep things fun?
I think it helps. I love it, and especially production. I love producing. The feeling of when you make like something great. You might only like it for a day, but it's quite nice when you get a groove going.
It's a really unique feeling, isn't it? As well, when like an idea starts to come together.
Yeah,
and you just get like childish excitement.
Proper, just sat in front of the computer, just like, this is amazing. Definitely think learning, trying to find new tricks and ideas. Like I learned a lot of stuff. I think I've done most of my learning from YouTube and learning bits from people, but just kind of going, right, I'm going to try and do that. Just look at this technique of how to do that. I'm going to try that today. So kind of just scouring the internet for knowledge. You can teach yourself anything.
Yeah.
And being like, right, I'm going to try and learn something different, because ultimately, as producers, it's just accumulating a bunch of tricks, isn't it?
Yeah.
And piecing those different tricks and techniques together. Some people got more tricks than other people. If that makes any sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense, and I've got completely the same perspective. You gotta keep it fresh when things are a little bit dull. You gotta take the technique that you rely on a lot and flip it on its head and see what happens, and be sort of open to all those types of things. Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm looking forward to your mix.
Thank you for having me. Cheers, man.
No worries. Coming up next, we got Joe's mix, so stay tuned for that.
The present is where your power is. Doesn't matter what happened in the past, because it's gone. What matters most is what you do with right now. Because right now is where your power is. Life is like a book. We must continue to turn the page.
That's the way you move, they're killing me. breathing. I can tell that you love it as much as I do. I've got moves of my own, you can feel it. What you give, I will give back to you. Yeah. You wanna move around, then girl, I'll move with you. You wanna slow it down, then girl, I'll flow with you. Baby, don't you stop, no baby, no, please. I've never felt nothing like this, so baby, girl, it's killing me. It's the way you move that's killing me. It's the way you move that's killing me. It's the way you move that's killing me.
Batman forward, Batman pull up. Batman forward, Batman pull up. Batman pull up.